Now here I am today to speak a little. And why? Because I snapped my finger in the door today. It's actually in a pretty bad shape and it's kind of getting black towards the edges and it's paining. So I can't play. Or can I? We'll try playing with the other two fingers. Until then, I'll tell you certain things. First of all, if you are a musician or if you are planning to learn music, I'll ask you why, and probably you're asking yourself, or probably many other people are asking why. Why invest on 35,000 rupees instrument in case of Sarod, which is a very complex instrument to maintain, which is 25 strings to tune up every day, which is to wipe every single time you play. If you don't, it'll get rusted in about 24 hours. It's a heavy instrument to carry around everywhere. Nevertheless, all the expectations are heavier that you must be expecting out of it when you buy it, and when you do practice or riyaz, you must be thinking that you are improving and you are going to improve, like you're going to play certain things, like compared to so many beautiful things to hear out there, but it doesn't work so easily, does it? Well, it does, but after a long time of practice, as all the seniors say, and they are all true. Now, however, to make it simpler, I'll just give you one example how Western music and Indian music, in exact which realm they are the same. They are very different, but exactly where they have a counterpoint, something in common. It's interesting. All the types of music, as I experienced, deal with something called tension, a situation which demands a release, and the journey from the tension to release is where the art form lies. In my opinion, that's one of the only valid points that connect all the genres of music, is the question and the answer. In Western, it's C after G, so it's more like da 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 da. So da 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 is the question, da 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 is the answer. And in Indian music, it would be like da 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 da. So da 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 question, da answer. Now, it's called a resolution in West. Having spoken about resolution, you cannot really hold attention. Like suppose you're giving someone a surprise and then you tell them, okay, I'm going to tell you a secret. And then you say, they ask you that, what is the secret? And then you say, yeah, I'll tell you after you brush your teeth. They go and brush the teeth and come back to you, and then they ask you, so I brush my teeth, and you tell me, and now see what am I doing with you right now? It's the same thing, holding the tension, holding and holding and holding, and at one point you actually make it difficult for the listener. So that sense of balance is where an artist is an artist. You have to release it at a certain point where it takes a release. If you can close your eyes and forget every theory in the world and try to believe your instinct, whatever your ear has heard before, from that your instinct has been trained, so you can actually figure out exactly where to release it, exactly where to hold it, exactly how long to hold on to that note, and all that. I think music makes a lot easier to play that way or to practice. Now, practice and playing is different though, but we'll get to that later. Hold that thought. But now, speaking of Western music, in here, harmony, and speaking of Indian music here, that those same notes are there. Re ma da ni da pa. Now, that is tension and release, and re ma da ni is a harmony. Now, why? Harmonies are designed like sa re like this. So it's sa re ga ma pa dha ni sa. And so if you take sa and in the gap there is the re and then ma and then dha and then sa. So the fingers are sa ga pa ni, and that's a chord, and the next set of notes is the other chord. I'll give you an example of from the West, a resolution, a question to be raised and answered as well. That particular form is known as 251 in jazz. 251 is actually pretty simple. What is 2? 2 is sa re. Now re is 2, like 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. So 1, 2, 2, and what is 5? Pa. The 5, 2, 5, 1. So basically, re, pa, sa. So you are making your journey, you are making your target as sa, and you are starting from re, which is a halfway tension, which is known as a subdominant. And then to pa, re or 2 is subdominant, then to pa or 5, which is the dominant, which means a full dominant, or in other words, just one is a half tension, the pa is the second, the full tension, and then you release. So this is just two-step to release, you can say, just like a logical statement. And music is full of statements. They are all messages. They are all speaking of something. Speaking of what? What are these words speaking of? A particular feeling. So does those words. It's pretty complex if you look at it in a certain way. But if you cut all those things and try to see, what do I feel when I create attention? When we speak to one another, we create attention. And when we, suppose, deal with a problem in life, we all have problems and we all move towards a solution and try to make it beautiful for us. And that's why I practice, because I like to take up problems, and because I know that in the end I will be given with a solution, and that release is beautiful. That's why we go to Everest. And that journey does not give me any pain. Even though it is said that practice is very painful, nobody likes. I like practice. I never really felt that, I am tolerating something while doing practice, because that tension is more like thriller movie. Like in thriller movies, you have tension, but you enjoy it, and then you are moving towards release. So, speaking of the most important point, is that whether or not you want to play. On that note, I'd say go back to your past and try to see that if there is any moment or a minute of music that you enjoyed truly from your heart. Don't think about it in this way that I like Bollywood music, or I like Western classical music, I like Indian classical music, because they all stand for certain iconic pieces, and to learn those, it's not going to be easy in one way, but it's going to be joyful in another. Because if you're interested in Western classical music, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, it's not first of all. You're going to get stuck there because it's so that way. Speaking of, so many things are there to learn in this world, and all of them have such subtle beauty in, by all means. If you just listen, you will find those. And as you find something beautiful, remember not to forget it. And later. So for now, you have heard many things, and I'd say just go back there and try to see which one you really liked. And I can tell you for certainty, if you chose that path, you will reach. Through those tensions, nothing can stop you, and to a point where everything becomes beautiful. That weight of the instrument and the responsibility doesn't feel on your shoulders anymore. It feels like a joyful journey to the Everest, or the price, or the problems, the practice, the incredibly delicious complex melodies to learn, and the rusting of the strings will disappear, even if you have a snapped fingertip. Ouch. I'll see you in my next video through my fingernails, I guess. Thank you for listening.